Yo, what is up, guys? I'm going to be going over the fights to make after UFC 324. Let's get right into it. The main event, Justin Gaethje versus Ilia Topuria. This is the fight to make, obviously, guys. Justin got the interim belt. This should be made on the White House card. Just what the UFC wanted. They needed to set this up because the White House card was lacking. If Patty won, it would have been bad for the card, and they wouldn't have had much for it. Now you can make this for the main event, and, it shouldn't be a problem. But, bro, I'm sorry to say, your time has come. You're cooked, Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje is getting slimed out in the first round. In the first round, badly. We are seeing him face planted on the ground, maybe flying across the octagon. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's going to be bad. And I don't think it's going to go into the second round. I think, Topuria's boxing is just too good. Gaethje doesn't have good defense. And, we saw that the lack of technique in the last fight, in the fight with Patty. And, if he fights like that, he's getting slimed out. I could see a world where if he fights like how he fought against Fiziev and moves a little bit better, then, that'll work out. But he's getting cooked no matter what. Ilya, by whatever he wants, he could literally go to the ground and submit him in round one. Like, that's my personal belief. I think this is just going to be an easy fight. Not much to say about this one. This is the fight you just have to make. You can't do anything else unless we're on some John Jones, Tom Aspinall storyline type of shit. But yeah, we're making this fight. Point blank period. That's it. I'm going to go on to the next one. This one's a little more interesting. Paddy Pimblett versus Dan Hooker. This is interesting because I know Dan Hooker is versing Benoit Saint Denis, which is a banger as well. That's going to be a war, and that's going to be in a few days. But, bro, I am so hyped to see this fight. They have to make it. They cannot fumble another beef like this. We had Yair and Diego Lopez having a little beef, and they didn't make that matchup. This you have to make. This you have to make. I hate you, let's die, bro. I don't know if you guys seen that guy on TikTok where he's like, I hate you, let's meet up in front of the supermarket. This is this type of matchup, bro. We need to see this, with the beef that they had, Patty talking about, Dan Hooker's mom, and then Dan Hooker, coming back at him, talking about his best friend that killed himself. Like, bro, fucked up situation, but we need to see it. We need to see it. We need beef in the UFC. We haven't had some beef in the UFC for so long. And, like, this is a competitive matchup. Like, we might see, Dan be able to put the hands on Patty because of, the striking. We saw the striking was trash from Patty. Very bad. But, maybe Patty will be a little bit smarter, just being that, he really does hate Dan Hooker now, and maybe he'll try to submit him. Maybe he'll shoot for more takedowns. But it's interesting. I really have to see, the Dan Hooker that we see at at 325 because, knowing that he has hand surgery, he lost to Sarukian by submission. Like, let's see what happens. I think you make this fight no matter what because, it doesn't even, like, I don't think Dan Hooker's going to go up in the rankings too much from this. He might go up one spot, and then Patty's right there with him. So just make the fight. You have the beef, put it on a fight night in England or whatever. Like, whatever it is, whatever you have to do, just do it. Just make this fight. It's going to be super entertaining. That's what matters, guys. Like, we got to have fights that people really hate each other. Like, I'm really excited for it. I think Patty can take this one, but definitely interesting. Definitely will be fun. The lead up will be interesting. Everything will be good. So give Patty some time to recover from it. Dan's just fighting. He'll need some time. Make it in the summer or, September, whatever it is, make the fight. It's going to be a banger. On to the next one. This fight is a banger as well. Super high level. Sean O'Malley, Umar Nurmagomedov. This is going to be so cool to see. Just, these guys fight each other. I want it to be 5 rounds, but just being that it could be on the White House card, just being that Sean's an American and they need stars that are Americans on the card, it might not be. It might be 3 rounds because I feel like they're going to have a co-main that might be over it. But who knows? We've seen stuff where they make 5-round fights that are not co-main events. But it's going to be interesting. I'm super hyped for something like this. You need a number 1 contenders fight. It's needed, because if you have Petr Yan rematching Merab, which is going to happen, no doubt about it, then, you know, you have to have something in between. You have to have a decided number one contenders fight. And this is the perfect one. They both just won, you know, and it's going to be super big for them both to fight each other on a huge card. It's just going to be a great fight. I'm super excited for it. You know, Sean should be able to work the striking, then Umar will be able to, you know, mix up everything, and it'll be a great fight. It'll honestly be a great fight, bro. So, and if Sean is Goonie, he's going to win. You know, if he's going to take a break from Goonie, he lost. That's how it goes for him, bro. We know you should see the money line on these fights, bro. You should see the money line on these fights. Watch it, bro. Pay attention. I'm telling you. Umar, I think Umar's going to take it, though. I can't lie. I just think Umar's better in everywhere except for the striking, and even the striking is super competitive. Like, Umar is so quick, and he moves so well that, you know, he should be able to take this fight. That's all I got to say, really. I think it'll be very interesting and should be a good scrap for the number one contenders fight. On to the next one. Song Yadong, Peyton Talbot. This one is perfect, bro. This one is literally perfect. If you look at, you know, the rankings and, you know, just being that Song Yadong has fought Petr Yan and Sean O'Malley in his last two fights, like, you got to give him a level down, and we'll see if Peyton Talbot can fight at that certain level. Like, he looked really good against Henry Cejudo, even though, you know, that wasn't the type of fight Cejudo should have fought. Doesn't matter. He looked really good. He had great takedowns, great takedown offense, amazing striking. I feel like he could strike with the highest level guys this division, maybe other than, you know, Yan and Sean O'Malley, but it should be super interesting. This is going to be a war no matter what, bro. Like, Song Yadong is, bro, his credit level in China is maxed out, bro. Look at him. He's going to cook. And then Peyton Talbot, bro, his style is just so interesting, and you can't go wrong with him. He might be a little zesty in this fight, but, bro, we'll see. We'll see how Song Yadong deals with that. Like, you know, the size disadvantage for Yadong might be interesting as well. I feel like Talbot's probably maybe the biggest guy at this division almost. Like, he's up there because, you know, Sean's around his height, but, you know, doesn't have the size of Talbot, and maybe Sandhagen might be bigger, but it's going to be super interesting how he mixes it up. His straight shots are super good, able to brawl, able to move super well, wrestling, everything's good. So, you know, lead up will be interesting. I think Talbot will troll a little bit. He's become more like lax and everything recently, but, you know, I do want to see a version of this where, you know, the marketing goes well and it's really interactive and fun. But, man, this is a perfect fight, bro. Hire me, UFC. Come on, bro. Hunter, what are you doing? We need to make this fight. You know, maybe this could even be featured prelim or first fight of the White House card. Why not? Like, let's stack up the White House card. If they want to fight, like, we need fights for the White House card. There's not a lot of American, I think there's no American champions or nothing. So you got to make fights like this, stack it up, give good fights like this, and this is perfect for it. So make it for that, and on to the next one. Waldo Ocasio-Cortez versus Curtis Blades. This is needed for heavyweight, bro. This is needed for heavyweight. Heavyweight is so stagnant right now. Not much going on. And, you know, you need somebody in the top 5 to fight. And Waldo needs a test in his wrestling, and he looked good against Lewis. I can't lie, looked good. And obviously there's not a lot of competition, but, you know, Blaze is perfect for this. He doesn't fight often. He needs to fight. I feel like you could book this before the summer even, like, you know, maybe for May or something. It really is needed for this heavyweight division, because if you look at it, Gane is not fighting. Tom Aspinall is not fighting. Volkov is not fighting because Volkov deserves the title shot. If you look at, you know, what Volkov has done in his past few fights, he deserves it for sure. Even though he got submitted by Tom Aspinall, you got to look at him and be like, I think he's on a 3 or 4 fight win streak. So you really have to give it to him. And, you know, this is a good matchup just because I feel like it builds up, Waldo's credibility. If he wins this, you got to be, considering for a title shot. It is interesting because Alex Pereira can move up and fight for the title as well. So it kind of puts a little logjam right there, but still will be a good fight. Just book this. Like Cortez is willing to fight on short notice, and Blades, like, I feel like Blades doesn't have to cut weight or nothing. Get them in there, get them fighting. Hasn't fought in a while. Make this in May. That's what I think. So great fight, bro. And Waldo, he has plot armor. He's Dominican. Papi, I Dominican. Papi, I Dominican. We're going to win this, bro. Waldo's going to win the title for Dominican Republic, bro. We got this. Let's go. Let's go. On to the next. Derek Lewis versus Popeyes, bro. Let me get real. Derek Lewis needs to retire. He looked like shit. I can't lie. And, it's just not going to work out for him anymore. You're like 41 years old or whatever, bro. Just retire, bro. Just bulk up to 300. Maybe we'll get some boxing events for you. You could fight in Aiden Ross's little, boxing promotion. But we love you too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on Derek Lewis. I just don't want to see him get slimed out. We cannot see him get slimed out. I feel like he can still beat the 10 through 15 guys, but once you get in the top 10, I feel like everybody's too skilled for him now. Moves a little too well. Heavyweight's evolving slightly, and yeah, he's not going to beat any of these top 5 guys for sure. Like he's cooked. He's cooked. Bro, he slipped. He got cooked. And bro, we have no problem if you book up to 300, fight on Aiden Ross's, events, have a little Popeye's biscuit or whatever in between rounds, instead of water. We're good with that, Derek Lewis. We're good with that. No hate to him. We love you. You can moon the crowd there, do whatever with your wife there, but you're done. You're done, Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis needs to retire. I'm sorry, guys. That's just the truth. I'm going to get on to the next one. Gene Silva versus Lerone Murphy. This is a great fight. Super high level striking. And, bro, we're going to cry at the belt, bro. We're gonna cry at the belt, bro. That's what Gene Silva's gonna look like. This is the fight to get him to the title. This is the fight that needs to be made, bro. I'm just interested to see how Lerone Murphy is gonna deal with the autism of Gene Silva. Like, bro, Lerone, I just feel like he's such a plank of a personality that Gene Silva can bring it out of him. We have to see something out of Lerone Murphy, bro. We need to see something. This is just like, it's bad. It's actually bad. I think Lerone Murphy is worse than Leon Edwards at promoting. Like, at least, Leon Edwards would fucking do something. Now, bro, Lerone is not doing nothing. He had one spinning elbow. I mean, he's good. He's good too. Don't get me wrong, but we need to see more out of him from promotion-wise because he's not going to get a title shot. He is not going to get a title shot. That's the reason why they didn't give it to him. That's the reason why they gave it to Diego, even though Movsar Evloev deserves it. But Gene Silva, I think he could get this one done. It's a super interesting fight. Super interesting fight. You make this fight and, winner of Lopez and Volk gets Evloev, and then you give the title shot to whoever wins this fight. It's a perfect situation. Not much to say other than that. Like, you got to make a fight that's going to be a title eliminator for this division, and I think you could give it to Gene Silva. I don't think it's crazy to, give him this high of a fight. I don't think he should fight down. I think he's proved that he's at that highest level. Don't waste any time. Put this guy in the conversation of that quick and give him guys to build up his resume. Even though he's been getting hate recently and it's not the same as what it was, he's still so entertaining. I don't think that anyone can, lie about that and say, oh, this and that. No, he's entertaining. He's fun to watch. He's hilarious to me, bro. What fighter does what he does? Why the fuck are you crying at the belt? Why are you jumping on your opponent's back? Like, that's the type of shit that we kind of need in the UFC sometimes, bro. Like, I'm down with it. I don't care whatever is going on, bro. This title shot was promised to him 3,000 years ago. We know this. We all know this already. Just give him the title shot, bro. Not the title shot. Give him the number one contenders fight. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited to see this one. I think, it'll be hilarious. The lead up will be interesting because Lerone's just boring. And then Gene Silva's just super weird. You know, I don't know what card you would put this on, but you could put it on almost any card, even headlining a fight night, and it would be good. It would be good. I'm down to see this one. Please, UFC, make this. Please, Dana, please. Arnold Allen, Yusuf Zalal. This fight would be an underrated banger, I feel like. I feel like people would put this under the radar. You know, pick Allen, and then Zalal would give a great fight. You know, everything is good. His good technical striking, great wrestling, great chain wrestling, everything. You know, Yusuf Zalal is one of the most underrated guys in the UFC. You know, it would be very interesting to see this, just matching him up against Allen. Allen's super high level, super tough, funny. You know, it'll just be a great fight. You know, it'll be a great fight. Had a very close fight with Gene Silva, and I don't think that we should put him up against somebody that's at the highest level, but I feel like, you know, Zalal's not even a step down. He's just that minor step down, and, you know, a lot of room for improvement, young, and can really have a great showing against Arnold Allen. And this is must win for Allen if he wants to get back to the top. You know, he's only lost to the best guys, and if he loses this, your time has come, bro. You're cooked. But the law is good. I would still pick Allen in this just because of the striking. I feel like he could be more physical, but very interesting. It'll be fun to see. Atiel Gautier versus Ikram Aleskarov. I think this is good, just being that, you know, Ikram has a little bit of a name in the UFC and has fought, you know, Whitaker and all the, and, you know, he's only lost to Whitaker, so it'd be good to get a guy where, you know, it's not like he's a scrub, but, you know, I think Gautier would still win this. Just has more physical striking. Ikram doesn't have the best striking. It's all right, and I think it could be decently competitive, but I think Gautier, with the adjustments that he can make, will win this easily. You know, bro, he is so powerful. It's just a shame to see in his last performance he didn't perform as well, just because so much hype around him, but it'll still be a great fight. I think Gautier could still knock Ikram out easily. I think Ikram does the chicken dance. We saw it against Whitaker badly. He was rocked badly, but yeah, there's not much to say on this one either. I feel like this is a good, good prelim match. Give him one more prelim, and then we'll get him a ranked guy. You know what I mean? Like a very, like, 13 through 15 guy. Whoever it is, you know, I could see him versing the loser of Gregory Rodriguez versus Ferreira. So whatever that is, put him up against him, and it should be great. It should be a great matchup. Now, on to the next one. Alex Perez, Steve Erceg. This is a banger. Tell me not, bro. This is some shit you see on a fight night, and you're like, all right, this is probably going to be a scrap. This is definitely going to be a scrap. And this will be. If they fight, which I think they should be, because I think they're 10 and 11 in the rankings, you know, perfect to make. You know, I don't think either guy deserves to fight up, and, you know, you don't want to match them down against somebody who's 15 or even unranked. I don't see a couple guys that are deserving of that. So make them fight each other. Great styles for a banger. You know, you put this fight on, you know it's going to be, you know, only striking for the most part, and, you know, great boxing. Both guys are technical, but also know how to scrap and get down. So make this fight. You know, Erceg has plot armor. He has plot armor. Dominic Reyes plot armor. That's the storyline right here. That's the storyline. He's coming back. You know, I think Erceg can take this. He's a little bigger, and his boxing is great. Make this fight. I promise, Dana, it will not disappoint. You know what I'm saying? Erceg will not get slimed out again. Will not accept that. We are coming back to the title, Erceg. Come on, let's do this. Let's do this. Dominic Reyes, plot armor. Come on. On to the next. Josh Hokit versus Marcus Buchecha. Bro, I need Hokit to slime out Buchecha. Like, I don't know if you guys watched Buchecha's last fight. Imagine you show your friend for the first time, yo, come over, let's watch the UFC event, and the first fight on is Buchecha fight. Bro, I'm so fucking done with Buchecha. Like, every single time he fights, he's dying of exhaustion and puts on the shittiest performances. If you show this to your friend, you'd be like, what the fuck am I watching right now? He's a literal whale. You're like, oh, like, you know, one of the top jiu-jitsu artists in the world. You know, this guy looks pretty fit for heavyweight. He's not a blob. You know, we made it. We made it. We got a good heavyweight. Then you watch him fight. Zero fucking striking almost. Terrible cardio. Terrible cardio. There's women at like freaking LA Fitness that do cardio kickboxing who have better fucking cardio than him in a fight. Dude, Buchecha needs to get out of the UFC. He needs to retire from MMA. Go back to jiu-jitsu, bro. We do not want to see you. And Hokit, our glorious King Hokit, is going to slime you out. Bro, Hokit has a good gas tank for this division. And, he's lighter. He's going to be able to be quicker. I just want to see Buchecha get tired, bro. Like what he did to Freeman, what Hokit did to Freeman, we need to see the same shit again. Middle finger TKO. Bro, we need to exhaust him crazy. Like, I just don't want to see Buchecha even land a single strike, bro. We need 100 strikes to 0. First round, corner stoppage. He's going to quit in the corner. That's what I want to see. I want to see a humiliation. I want to see a 10-6 round from Hokit. I'm done with Marcus Buchecha. I'm done with these freaking... He's not even fat. That's the crazy thing. How are you not a fat heavyweight and you're still getting tired as shit? I don't want to see tired heavyweights anymore. I'm sick of that. That's my biggest pet peeve in the UFC. These heavyweights. Supposed to be a good-ass division and everything. Trash. Stop getting tired. Go on the treadmill. Lose like 10, 15 pounds, bro. If you're 250, it's not going to matter. Bro, stop gassing. That's all I have to say, bro. That was the video, guys. That was my matchups for UFC 324. I feel like I made very good matchups. A lot of these are going to be so good to see. A lot of White House card fights, and, they're going to be super entertaining. Even though Gaethje's going to get slimed out, I feel like Topuria should be like the minus 1,000 favorite, maybe even more, but we'll see what the odds are when they come out. But, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was entertaining. I hope you guys have a great day. Take care. Peace.